right, there it goes. Hey, everybody. Today is March 31st, 2017. It is my day, I think 3:33, 3:23, 3:33, somewhere around there. And just touching base for today. I probably will not post this video on Facebook. Only because it's kind of a sensitive matter and probably only of interest to people that are transitioning. It's been a rough day. Been a rough couple hours. Rough 24 hours. Woke up at just like 2 o'clock this morning and just felt like something was wrong. Something was off. And I just felt overwhelmed with just fear and doubt. If I got a kitty cat here. Kitty cat. And like I wanted to kill myself, which, you know, I've always been of the opinion that when you begin to feel like you want to kill yourself, that's kind of a white flag that you need to address something. And the more I laid in bed, the more I was like, this is silly. This is stupid. Why do I want to kill myself? Why am I not happy? And the more that I tried to analyze it, the more frustrated I got and the more angrier I got. And I guess I'd have to give a little bit of background on that. Because of some financial issues, I had to turn off my cell phone. Now my daughter still has her cell phone, which she will have until it runs out, and we're getting a house phone, so there'll be a phone in the house. In the meantime, when I need to use the phone, I borrow her phone. And so I haven't really been like connecting with my parents for a couple weeks. And it's one of those things that for the last, I'd say 3 or 4 years, my mother and I have really distanced. And I don't necessarily think it has to do with transgender stuff, although that would be the initial. Well, of course, it's transgender stuff. She's embarrassed of you, or she doesn't know how to treat you, or something like that. But I don't think that's it. I'm beginning to question it. Maybe it might be Alzheimer's. I don't know. But I'm very cut off, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make right now. I'm cut off from my family. My dad's side denies my existence. I'm the freak because of my transgender stuff. And whereas my dad, I think, tries to deny it, and ignores it. Again, not that, we don't live anywhere near each other, but when they retired, when I moved up to Indiana, I was on my own, and I've been up here for like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years. My dad, when he retired, he moved to a different place in Florida. My mom, she retired. They moved out to Utah. And so there is no connection. We don't have Sunday dinner with each other. We're not going to be invited over for dinner. Or, can you meet me at the mall? I mean, none of that, which I'm kind of envious of. But anyway, so, I don't quite have the support network. Not that people, your brothers and your sisters would befriend you anyway. I do have a sister, by the way. But I'm better off not communicating with her because I am somewhat of an embarrassment to her. But anyway, the idea is feeling isolated. But I found out I was just repeating myself, I'm hungry, obviously. Well, of course I'm hungry. I'm starving myself. I'm going to be hungry. But I find myself just repeating myself. Well, you're doing it for the weight. And it's just like, okay, enough, let it go. But it's a constant, I thought gender problems were a problem. Being hungry is not something that goes away. And, but again, I understand, mentally I understand the reason why I'm doing it, but my body doesn't. The body, the mind is strong, but the body is weak or whatever. But again, I just found myself getting frustrated. And it reminded me of a time back in the 80s, 90s, where, life had just shit on me 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. I had lost my job. I got fired. I was having a hard time. Transgender stuff was kicking up. I didn't know what I was doing or where I was going. And I was just like, walking around going, God, please give me a sign. Tell me what I need to do. And I felt very much stuck, for lack of a better word. And as it turns out, the girl I was dating at the time, who knew I was transgender, we kind of broke up. And I mean, it was like everything that could be pulled out from underneath me was pulled out underneath me. And in a conversation, I said something like, I guess I don't really have a reason to live. And I didn't. I found myself as a guest of the state of Florida for a weekend because of that. Someone called it, my girlfriend at the time called it in, and I was a guest of the state being observed because I was on a suicide watch. And I felt the same frustration last night that I felt when I was in the mental home for the weekend. I was like, I am not going to kill myself, but I am frustrated. And where do you turn for answers? Like, you can't, you say to someone, I want to transition, or I'm and all they can do is just say, I hear you, and I understand. I have received the message, and I am sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that you're sad, or I'm sorry you feel like life isn't going your way. What can you do to make things happen? And you're like, well, I'm doing all I can do. And so the other person is like, well, if you're doing all you can do, then there's really nothing you can do. And you're like, okay, we're back to square one again. I'm unhappy. Well, why are you unhappy? And so it just becomes this loop. And this morning, like I said, I caught myself going down that path, and I'm like, no, there is no reason to do this. But our minds don't, just the human mind is it's not a machine, but boy, it acts like one sometimes. Just repeat like a subroutine, repeat, and you're like, and stop, just hold on a minute. Let me take my time here. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. And I don't know if Indiana has the same sort of laws that Florida does, but I'm not suicidal. It's just that frustration. It's like, I'm doing all I can do, and God, please, and it's just one of those things that someone who is someone who's not transgender, they're not going to get it. They don't get it. They don't understand it. And I want to kick myself sometimes from expecting compassion or empathy or sympathy, or people just don't get it. They're like, I don't understand it, and if we were walking around with a hole in our head, or our arm was broken, or piece of rebar sticking out of our chest, they'd be like, oh my gosh, something's wrong, we'll get you to the hospital. And we have those wounds, they're just not visible, and you're just like, so. But anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. It has been a week since I was told I was fat, and I'm happy to say that I have lost around 12 to 14 pounds, depending on when you say that I started. So I'm going to say 12 pounds, go lowball it. I've lost 12 pounds, and so yay for me. I'm 10% of my goal, which is pretty good. Mentally, I did a number crunch last night. If I was to maintain 5 pounds a week, it would mean that by September I could have surgery, and that's yay. 7 months, or whatever, how many months it is now. What we March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months, friends. 6 months. Okay. That's half the time that I thought it was a week ago. So that's cause enough to celebrate. Yay. But again, it's one of those things that's like, it's a constant reminder. Much like being transgender or gender dysphoric and being uncomfortable with your body, it's a constant reminder. You know, it's that, what I did yesterday. You bend your finger back really hard and hold it, you know, and it doesn't go away. You know, it does. There's nothing you can do but transition and get on the hormones and do those things. And people that are not transgender, they're just not going to get it. They don't get it. They can't. They just can't comprehend it, you know. But and I share these things not really as a poor me. It's just a statement of fact. But it helps me to communicate where I am, because there might be someone else there who feels the same way, or that was their experience, or if someone wanted to know what might think, you know, what might the, I mean, everyone's experience is going to be different, but like I said, I think again, you know, it's crazy, and I miss my family somewhat. Not that they would accept who I am now, but you know, there was a line from the Boy Meets Girl movie where I think Robbie is his name. He says something about, you know, you're always doing that and you think it's us and da-da-da. And she says, Ricky says something like, well, the difference is I'm a people of one and you have us. You have others, you know. And it's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way this plays itself out. You know, I miss that. And being a parent, you know, my primary concern, other than going to work and, you know, I'm taking care of my daughter and whatnot, I don't have that, you know, I don't have a life outside the home here. You know, I mean, my job is my daughter, and I take it very seriously. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know. And plus, to be fair, I am learning the new social, you know, with this new role comes new responsibilities and navigating new social arenas and everything. You know, it feels good. You know, that's one piece of something I can take from it. As a final piece, oh my goodness, kitty cat's unhappy. As part of losing like so much weight real quick, I mean, it's like become liquid shit. Yeah. And again, I like to think that my body is saying, okay, you know, burn the potential energy, right? Burn the fat storage, and the result of that is a lot of mierda, as my grandfather would say. So anyway, just touching base, and I do appreciate one of our trans girls did reach out to me and kind of gave me a little virtual hug, and I do appreciate that. And maybe that was something else from the video the other day. It's just, you know, as an adult, as a child, let me rephrase that, and you're with your parent, like with my daughter this morning, she didn't feel good, and you know, all she wanted was a hug, and that went a long way, you know. And as an adult myself, maybe all I want is a hug, you know. And I think I'll get that in time. I think I will get that physical contact in time, you know. I don't know if it'll be with a guy or a girl, someone in between. Right now I'm leaning more towards a guy, but you know, a hug's a hug. And as far as, you know, a romantic relationship. But anyway, on that note, I think I'm gonna sign off. But again, I just wanted to record it, you know, just marking this journey. That's what this journal is all about. It's not all happy and sunshine. It's not all sadness and, you know, despair. It's just this process that is the journey. And It may never end, but here I am on day 233. So, all right, I'm going to sign off. Bye. Oh my